Hi, I'm Claire from the Kitchy Kitchen, and today I'm in Santa Monica, California, hosting the Better with Almond Breeze workshop. And one of the recipes we're doing today are paleo almond lavender muffins with lemon glaze. It's a really simple two-step method, and these muffins are delicious and completely dairy-free, gluten-free, and refined sugar-free, so everyone can enjoy them. So to get started, I have my ingredients laid out in front of me. So for my dry ingredients, I have 2.5 cups of almond flour, a 1/4 cup of coconut flour. I then have 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. And then of course I have the lavender. This is about 2 teaspoons of lavender that I've sort of roughly ground up. You just want to release the oils and the flavor. It smells so good already. All right, and for the wet ingredients, I have 4 large eggs that are at room temperature. I have a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. I have a 1/3 cup of coconut oil, and I've actually melted that down so it's really nice and liquidy. And then I have a 1/4 cup of Almond Breeze Original Unsweetened, and that's gonna give a lot of great moisture and flavor. All right, so now I'm just gonna start mixing it together. So first things first, I'm just gonna combine all of the dry ingredients into this bowl with the almond flour. So in goes the ground lavender, followed by the sea salt, the baking soda, and then the coconut flour. The coconut flour doesn't give it a coconut flavor, but it does give it a really excellent texture. So I'm just gonna whisk this together, and I always wanna well mix all of my dry ingredients because you just wanna make sure that it's going to be doing what it's supposed to do. There's nothing worse than biting into a muffin and getting a mouthful of baking soda. So you definitely wanna make sure everything's really well integrated. Well, that looks great. So I'm gonna set that aside. And now I'm gonna mix together all of my wet ingredients. So into the bowl that I have my maple syrup, I'm going to add the coconut oil and the almond breeze. And then I'm actually gonna separately whisk together the eggs because I want it to have a really even texture. And the reason why I keep these at room temperature is because it just allows the egg whites to be really flexible. It kind of releases that protein. Because I'm not using flour that has gluten in it, this is the way I'm sort of adding structure. It's through the egg whites. And the reason why I'm doing this separately is because if I did it in this other small bowl, it would take a lot of effort and be sloshing around. So it's easier just to mix together the eggs separate. So in with the other wet ingredients. And then I'm just gonna sort of very gently mix this together. So now I'm gonna add the wet ingredients to the dry. And because this is a grain-free, gluten-free recipe, I don't have to worry about overworking the flour. So I'm just gonna mix it together until it has a really nice, even texture. That looks great. So there's no pockets of anything as I'm stirring it. It's all one texture, one color. So these are ready to go into a lined muffin tin. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna put these in and then I'm gonna bake them for about 20 to 25 minutes. This recipe makes about 8 muffins. It kind of depends on how large you like them. My muffins are out of the oven and they've cooled slightly so I can touch them and take them out. So now I'm gonna get started on making the lemon glaze. And this one's really fun. I just love the ingredients that are in here. So to make it, it's actually really simple. I have 2 tablespoons of honey, and the honey adds a really nice kind of viscosity. So it means it's gonna have like sort of a slippy drippiness to it. That's gonna be really beautiful. About a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 tablespoons of Almond Breeze Original Unsweetened, and then I have 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil. So I'm just gonna stir this together. And now I'm gonna get started on the lemon. So first I'm going to zest the lemon. And the reason why I do this is because the lemon skin is filled with amazing oils and so much flavor. So you can get a lot of lemon flavor, but without any bitterness or tartness. So I'm gonna zest this entire lemon. I wanna take off just the skin, but not the white pith, because the white pith is actually really bitter. So you wanna just get the sweet, really flavorful skin. All right, that feels pretty good. So next I'm gonna add the juice of 1 lemon. Beautiful. So I'm actually gonna whisk this together. And the interesting thing about this glaze is that the coconut oil actually hardens at a really high temperature. So for coconut to be soft and liquidy, it actually needs to be over 78 degrees. So what's going to happen is as this glaze sits on the muffins, it's actually going to harden back up, so it's going to give it a really lovely sheen. But that's why I want to make sure it's really well integrated, because otherwise I'll get pockets of oil. So by blending it together really well, it's going to have a super smooth, delicious texture. So I'm going to take my muffins, and you want them to still be a little bit warm because then they really soak in the glaze. So I'm using a pastry brush, and I'm just mixing it in with the liquid and just kind of painting it. And you can see this glaze isn't a super thick glaze that you get with like a powdered sugar glaze. It's meant to be nice and thin and soaking in on top. So it just gives it a little bit of sheen and really amazing flavor. And the nice thing about these muffins too is they're not too sweet. So these are perfect to have for breakfast, to have as an afternoon snack. The next day, toasted with like a touch of butter is just wonderful. And my muffins are done. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching how to make these delicious paleo muffins with almond bries. I love seeing your creations, so if you guys decide to make this yourself, please tag me in it and add the hashtag #BetterWithBries. I cannot wait to see what you come up with.